Hey Bearcats, this is Dr. Jim Kellum. I don't have much time to make a nice, smooth presentation about birds today. I'm actually on a trip, or about to go on a trip up to New York for my stepdaughter's graduation. So, anyway, here I'm on my porch doing this thing real fast. I had a request to talk about ruffed grouse, and this seems very appropriate given that you are going to go to New England where there are a lot of ruffed grouse. Ruffed grouse are like a really fun bird to find because you'll be walking through the woods and all of a sudden something will jump out of a bush and startle you like you wouldn't believe. Your heart is going to be racing and you're just going to physically jump. And it's because that bird has relied on its camouflage to hide from predators like you, and it will just sit there quietly, silently, trying to avoid detection. But then once you approach too closely, it thinks that you've found it, and then it has to really fly quickly to get out of the way. Now, when they are, and unfortunately, that's like the only time I ever see ruffed grouse is when they're flying away from me. But I can hear ruffed grouse now and then. And what I hear is in the spring, they've got this mating ritual, if you will, or mating call, but it's not part of their voice. It's actually the males will sit around in the bushes and use their wings to gather air and really make a sound with the air, and it sounds like this: thump, 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 thump. I'm sure that was fun to watch, but I actually, as I made the sound, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty good at mimicking the ruffed grouse because that's what it sounds like. This air movement can travel probably a quarter or half a mile. You can hear it for some distance, and that's the way the bird is attracting mates and defending territory. I went to college in Maine many years ago, and I was not used to hearing ruffed grouse. And so my first exposure to ruffed grouse was that sound, and I'm like, it sounds like a 2-liter bottle that kind of hits the floor and goes thump, 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 and then bounces thump, 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 thump. And I couldn't figure out what it was. But a professor at College of the Atlantic told me what it was. So forever after, I've always thought of my college whenever I hear a ruffed grouse. Now, whether you're going to hear or see a ruffed grouse on your trip to New England is questionable. The reason being these species go through a 6 to 11 year population cycle. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. In Pennsylvania, it seems to be quite on the low end now in terms of population size. So I can speak to Pennsylvania, but I can't speak to the other states in the Northeast. But in Pennsylvania, we have sort of a double whammy that's impacting, or maybe triple whammy that's impacting the populations. First is just the normal cycle. The cycle has to do with predator cycles that go up and down. And when there's a lot of prey around, the predator population goes up. And then there's fewer ruffed grouse around. That's the sort of the natural cycle. Then there's a couple unnatural things, if you will. The second thing is our white-tailed deer population is very, very high in Pennsylvania, and they are herbivores and competing with the grouse for the same food sources. So our populations are down because of the deer, damn deer. And then lastly, more bad news. With a warming climate, we're getting less snow on the ground in the wintertime. The ruffed grouse use the snow to shelter. They actually dig burrows in the snow to keep themselves warm at night and to shelter from predators during the day. And because we're having less snowpack over the last couple decades, grouse populations are declining because they get eaten by predators because they're no longer protected, and possibly they get too cold because they don't have the insulation of the snow. Okay, that's it. Gotta go.